Brought to you by Penguin.
America, América by Greg Grandin. Read by Holter Graham.
For Eleanor and Manu, and for Diane, much missed. I can see America seated on liberty's throne, wielding justice's scepter, crowned with glory, revealing to the old world the majesty of the new. Simón Bolívar, 1819. Can we, the republics of the New World, help the Old World to avert the catastrophe which impends? Yes, I am confident that we can. We offer hope for peace and a more abundant life to the peoples of the whole world. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 1936. Introduction. On the utility of magpies. The travelers sat silently in Quaker meetings for hours during the day, and visited brothels at night. In Philadelphia, he watched a raucous crowd welcome the arrival of George Washington, with men, women, and children as ecstatic as if the Redeemer had entered Jerusalem. General Washington, the Venezuelan Francisco de Miranda wrote in his journal, was magnificent in his bearing and grace. He embodied virtue and focused all the New World's desires for independence into a single flame. A flame, Miranda said, that belonged to all America. Miranda, as a colonel in the Royal Spanish Army, had already fought on the side of the North American rebel colonists during the bloody siege of Pensacola. He would later go on to defend the French Revolution and lead one of Spanish America's first independence movements. Now, in the middle of 1783, he was beginning a year-long tour of the new United States. Miranda wanted to see how the world's first modern republic fared. He spoke with tradesmen, farmers, and Revolutionary War veterans. In New York's Hudson Valley, he waxed lyrical about the sweet grasses of the field and mistakenly assumed the Catskills were North America's highest point. He dined in gentry estates even as he noticed much hardship amid the wealth. Many of New York's Dutch-speaking farmers couldn't afford shoes, while the well-off men and women alike adorned themselves with silks, perfumes, pomades, and powders. The money spent on such vanity, he noted, would cover a year's interest on the new country's war debt. New York's politicians and preachers professed abolition, Miranda noted, yet slavery still existed in the state. The number of Negroes is large. In Boston, he was introduced to Phyllis Wheatley, a formerly enslaved West African woman who had won her freedom and became a celebrated poet, only to die penniless. Miranda cited Wheatley as proof that all humans, regardless of color or sex, were rational beings. Miranda's family in Caracas owned slaves, as did Miranda himself. They lugged around his famous library, many bundles of papers, and an ever-growing number of books. While in Philadelphia, he purchased the indenture of a Scottish boy who had arrived in port on a ship carrying over 300 shackled Africans. But Miranda would soon embrace the abolitionist cause as part of a broader belief that all the subjugated peoples of the Americas should be liberated, including Native Americans. When the New World was finally free, Miranda suggested, it might be called Colombia, with the English language U instead of the Spanish O, as in Colombia, a spelling he picked up from Wheatley's Ode to Washington. Celestial choir, enthroned in realms of light, Columbia's scenes of glorious toils I write. The Venezuelan thought both Native Americans and women were more oppressed in the new English-speaking republic than in colonial Spanish America. In the United States, the wives of revolutionary leaders were forced into a monastic seclusion and such submission to their husbands as I have never.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?